fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we have returned with our first quarterfinals match. Let's go again. Shout out to Enki Alexander, the Spanish caster, for covering Hubsai versus Rogue. Did just conclude. Rogue took down Hubsai 2-0, and now we have our next series, Classic versus Rogue, in the quarterfinals. PvZ, let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Era Home, we have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, also from South Korea. It is Classic. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, I'll be honest, this could have been a finals even. Like Classic and Rogue, they're both amazing players. They're both some of the best players in Korea in their own right. I would say, looking at the bracket, Rogue is the best Zerg player on the bracket, as he is the only Zerg, I guess, to be fair. And Classic being the strongest Protoss player on the bracket as well. But they're facing off in the quarterfinals, and we'll see who can make it to those semis. I'm hoping for a back and forth. I'm hoping for an ace match. We'll see how our players do embrace Era Home of all maps. Welcome one and all. You might be looking at this, might be thinking, hold up, Era Home, I didn't see that on TLMC 20. What's going on? Where are we? Well, this is a unique map to the KSL map pool. This is an older TLMC map from Team Liquid map contest number 17, not 20, and it is a rush map. It is straight up a rush map, very short rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on this map as a result, and we often see shorter games. We often see all-ins on Era Home. What I mean by that, third base to third base from this expansion to this expansion, we have one screen worth of room here between base and base. We do see that Rogue is just taking his natural for the time being. We have seen a lot of players expand away from their opponents just to try to make the map a little bit longer, just to try to get away from each other. Despite that, still short games are favored here. Now, when it comes to some of the defensive features, we do have a ramp coming into the natural, we have a ramp coming into the triangular third base, and we have a very narrow choke point here in the center as well. So there are some areas where you can take some greater fights, even with a smaller army. But if you don't take advantage of these locations, then the game can end real fast and real quick. Oh boy. So we'll see how we open up so far. Standard opener, Twilight Council, Stargate by Classic. I was locked into the TVP earlier, but it's going to be a Stargate opener out of our Protoss player. Stargate into Oracle across the map. The Oracle is rallied as we speak. At least the Stargate is rallied, I should emphasize. Could be a Void Ray opener. True, typically a Void Ray is designed to hunt down the Overlords, just to deny vision, deny scouting, and to keep the Zerg player in the dark. So we'll see what we do open up with. Based on the rally, it does feel like an Oracle, but we'll see. Likewise, across map, Rogue Key does expand away from Classic. So again, Rogue's trying to get as much room between himself and Classic as he can. We'll see which expansion Classic goes for, whether he expands towards his opponent or away from his opponent as well. We shall see. As the players are setting up, settling in. Link speed is on the way. Rogue, he pulls out of gas, droning up. When it comes to Rogue's preferred style in this matchup, as with a lot of matchups, I would say that Rogue, he is very mid to late game oriented. I would say very mid game oriented. He's very prone and very fond of rushing into lurker tech, like rushing into like skipping Evo Chamber, skipping Roach Warren, going into Hydras, Ling Hydra into fast Lair, into fast lurker tech, into fast Hive. That is at least what we've seen a lot from Rogue in ZVT and in ZVP as well, but we'll see. On a smaller map, it's going to be more difficult to get away with that. So I'm leaning towards a Roach Warren. Roach Warren would be a very safe way to play this out. Very safe. We'll see if he goes for it. For now, Classic does take down the active tumors. We'll threaten a shade into the bases. Alas, Rogue, he doesn't take the, or I should say Classic doesn't shade in. Rogue is keeping up. Meanwhile, it was the Oracle opener. We can see Classic expanding towards his opponent. Classic expanding towards Rogue. So Classic, he might be more assertive from here. Does move in with his second Oracle. Headed for the mineral line. Queens are in position, and the Oracles take a lot of hits. Yeah, they take a lot of damage. Getting 2 drone kills, 3 drones so far. Not bad. 3 workers go down. Twilight Council's on the way. Twilight Council to Forge into +1 and Blink. And we'll try to keep an eye on the gateway count here of Classic to see if he does go for a massive explosion into a 3-base all-in. That's what we are looking for. That's what we are waiting on. As adepts, they do shade across the map. We now have 3 oracles active, 1 on the right, 2 on the left. 4th base being taken. Classic does spot the 4th. He shouldn't, I was gonna say he shouldn't be able to cancel, but that's a lot of DPS. He's going for the cancel, going for the denial. Massive pig off, 1 oracle goes down, and nicely done here by Rogue. He does at least get the oracle, but that is still a denial of the base. Stasis coming in. Rogue does react in time. And how many gates so far? I believe that's going to be a 6-gate setup from Classic. Lings, they get across the map. It's going to be a Stalker, not Adept to defend. So the Stalkers are going to go down. Massive pickoffs. Rogue popping up. He gets 2. Takes down 2 Stalkers before getting the hell out of there. Very efficient trade here from Rogue. And behind this, we did speak about it. He is skipping his Roach Horn and going into... Oh, sorry, he did get the Roach Horn, but he's going into the Hydra Den. So at the start of the game, we did mention how Rogue is very fond of going into Hydra and going into Lurker tech specifically. We'll see if that will be the case even here at Errorholm. Did go for a safety Roach Warren, but as you can see, he's not making any Roaches. The Roach Warren is just in case there was some early Adept aggression, just in case he needed it. So it was a safety Roach Warren. Ideally, he does want to skip Roaches and make Hydras instead. There it is. Hydra range is on the way. From here, we should go into +1 range as well. Hydra production has begun. Lings coming in for the surround. They do catch out 1 Adept. 1 Adept falls. Nicely done. Ooh, but the rest they shade into the mineral line. 3 drones going to be going down. Very nice pickles here by Classic. He will get surrounded. It's going to be 4 drones in total. And he also scouts the Hydra Den. So nice scout there from Classic. Behind this, going to be following this up with extra gases. So he's not going for a 3-base all-in. Throws down extra gases. He does delay his gateways. And he's going for a faster storm. So Classic building up towards a later game. Rogue, he does get eyes on the 4th, and he may be able to force a cancel, but now the Stalker's in position. Rogue, he does miss his moment. As Rogue is going to be forced back. Again, still building up his Link Hydra. What we're waiting for here is whether or not Rogue saturates his 4th base. For the time being, he's only on 62 workers. He's getting a 5th expansion just for Larva, but he has yet to drone up the 4th. Right now, he's just hyper-fixated on Link Hydra production. Stalkers poke in. They deny active tumors. We can see Rogue trying to set up a surround. He has to pull back. Doesn't quite pull it off. Does pull away, and it looks like an all-in. And which is to be expected. As we mentioned, like, all-ins are very commonplace here on this map, and this is a 3-base all-in. Yes, there is a 4th expansion, yes, there is a 5th expansion, but that is only for Larva. That is not for saturation, that is not for the economy. Hydras, they catch out the Stalkers. Yeah, Stalkers, they go down. Massive pickoffs. Lings, they chase us down as well. They force a recall. And here comes the all-in back at home. And Classic, is he ready for this? He bled out so many Stalkers. He's trying to rush into Sky Toss. That's not going to happen. Where are the High Templar? How many High Templar? Okay, 4. 4 High Templar moving in. There's going to be 4 storms. But High Templar, they're exposed. Hydras, they start. Oh god, they take a storm to the face. We have 2 storms left. Lings into the mineral line. We're down to 1 storm. And there's the final storm, and it's not going to be good enough. Yeah, the storms, they barely connect. And with that, Rogue, he breaks the expansion. He breaks down the main army. The Stalkers crumble. The High Templar as well. And there's nothing left. There's nothing left. GG gets called. Rogue, he will snowball out of control, taking game number 1. Whew. GG. Rogue, he will take a lead in the series. Again, Rogue coming into this, he did, again, commit. We saw that Classic, unfortunately, he didn't realize that it was an all-in. He was poking, he was prodding, but if he had confirmed the lack of saturation, then Classic wouldn't have been on the map. Remember, it all began with Classic Stalkers getting caught in the center and getting surrounded. They tried to recall. In the process, they lost, what, like 4 or 5 Stalkers, and on top of that, the High Templar were out of position as well. So even though the High Templar were coming in, we saw that Classic, he was taking into Sky Toss, like everything was going south there for Classic. Stalkers got caught out, main army out of position, and he was investing in Stargates and a Fleet Beacon when an all-in was just barreling across the map. GG. GG, well played with that. Classic, he is down in the series. We'll see if Rogue can clean this up or if Classic can bounce back. Let's go. Let us go. So we are going to be getting ready here for that next game. Rogue from the military. Rogue has been back from the military for like a year. What are you doing? S the young poker gamer. But yeah, Rogue, he I say for a year. Rogue, I mean, his big return was last year Star Zagora. That was what? October of last year. But he was also competing before that as well. So he's been back for quite some time. Let's see, in my mind, he's been back since, what, EWC of last year? Let's have a look. He was back since April, yeah, a year. Yeah, there you go. It's been a year. He finished his military last year, March, so he's been competing since April. Like April, May. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, who up in the series, and we'll see if he can close it out. Representing Team Falcons, it is Rogue. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Classic. Yes, Rogue has been back since April of last year, so it's at this point coming up on a year, and he's been having some really good performances. Again, I think infamously he did have his like kind of big showcase during Star Zagora in his matches against Clem. I think like everyone kind of recalls that, and that really kind of put Rogue back on the map. Was his mass Overseer style against Clem. If you recall, it was like mass, like, sorry, I should say mass Hydra Lurker Viper, heavy on the Lurker, and mass Overseer just to shroud and protect his Lurkers, and mass Nidus, of course. Like, it was, yeah, definitely a style that caught Clem off guard. Remember, this was post EWC, post Clem, I mean Clem being the world champion, and Rogue popping off there. It's crazy. It's crazy. Was that with Clem break his keyboard? Clem did not break his keyboard. Aye. And Rogue still plays that way. What I will say is that was a new style, and since then he still continues that style in ZVT, and since then it has more or less been figured out. A lot of the success of that style was just how new it was and how different and innovative it was. But players like Björn, players like Clem, players like Cure, since then have had much more success at shutting it down and stopping it. But it was fun for the time that it lasted, is what I will say. It was just really cool to see, and again, really innovative. Alas, it's one of those things that where once people see it, they can study it, they can recognize it, and they can shut it down. So after that Star Zagora run, Rogue has had less success with it, but still does embrace it. For now, though, we are going to be settling into game number 2. If you're asking, that's when Clem slammed his desk. Yes. Clem, he did slam his desk in frustrations after that series. But no keyboard was broken. That's we are going to be settling in. To see Classic taking his third. Does take his third base. Going to be a Stargate opener here out of Classic. And once again, we're getting into our game. We do see, oh, actually mixing it up. Okay, up until this point, it's been pretty standard stuff, pretty standard follow-ups. It was going to be a Stargate opener into the double Oracle with a Phoenix follow-up here into a much faster Twilight Council. This looks like Glaive Adepts. I say it looks like, I say this all the time. If this is a normal Protoss player, I would assume Glaives here from Classic. But if we were casting Hero, and Classic does take notes from Hero every now and then, this could be Blink. This could be Blink instead. Into a 3-base all-in. The Phoenix will protect the tech, will shut down the Overlord, will deny the Scouts, deny the Vision. Alright, Classic, what do you have for us? What do you got? Yep, Blink. Blink is on the way. So this should be an early Blink timing. Now, the Twilight Council was thrown down really early on when it comes to the progression of the 3rd base. So Blink is already in production alongside +1, and we'll keep an eye on the Gateway Explosion. We're expecting more gateways. And again, the probe is in position. So right now we have a 4-gate setup. From here we can go up to 6, and we can potentially go up to 8 gates. So we'll keep an eye on that probe. As the Upside do move out across the map. And there we go. Yeah, more gates are on the way. So currently we're getting up to 6 gateways here from Classic. And if they do move out across the map, they shade past the Queens, headed towards the mineral line. Unless they don't quite make their way in. Also, big shout out to the chat. Papi God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. I almost said Francesco, but Francois, David, thank you so much, Papi. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. Do appreciate the support with the Twitch Prime. Again, you can enjoy emotes. You can join our Discord server. We do give out replay packs to our subscribers. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Meanwhile, Classic takes his gases. Okay, so gases are being taken. This means that we are taking up, and we're actually headed in the same direction that we were last game. In a different way is what I should emphasize, but we're getting in towards not just 8 gateways. We get up to 6 gates, into Tech, into Storm, into a 4th base. So Classic is taking up. Classic is not going all in. He does have earlier blinks, so he can be more assertive with his Stalkers, and we'll see what he can achieve. Now, unlike the previous map, unlike Arrowhome, the rush distance by ground is a lot longer on this map, so to try to be a little bit cheeky here, you can, in a way, get away with it, and we have that from Rogue Spire play, going into Mutas. So as Rogue is taking bases, saturating, droning up, gaining map control with these Lings, he's rushing into Mutas, and we'll see if Classic can punish him. Now, I expected Classic to be more aggressive with these Stalkers, but Classic, he has been skipping Warbins. As you can see, Classic, he hasn't lost anything. He only has 6 Stalkers. Despite having 6 gates, he has been skipping Warpins, preserving his economy, throwing down bases, throwing down expansions, focusing on droning, and now getting into High Templar. So Classic has not been aggressive. Checking his vision, what did Classic see? He saw the Spire. Big scout. Hallucination got into the main base. We do have a Hydroden follow-up here, so these Mutas should not wreak havoc. They should not end the game. We have cannons on the way already here on the front lines, and we should be seeing cannons in the mineral lines as well. Big shot on that one. There we go. Just like the last game, second Stargate, Fleet Beacon, this should be for Skytoss. Classic, he did see the Spire. I'm hoping that he reacts to this though, because at the moment the mineral lines are very exposed. There is one Phoenix, that is true, but there are 12 Mutas on the way. This makes it look like Classic didn't click on the building, and I am concerned. I am concerned here. Mutas are moving out. They make their way on the right hand side. Thanks a lot for the SC2 content. You're welcome, Pap. You're welcome. We appreciate it. As Rogue does head in, there's the recall. The mineral line is exposed. Probe's going to be going down. Ooh, would you get a massive storm though? That's still going to be 9 worker kills. Like where Stalkers warping into the main base, no cannons, no shield batteries. This is doing a lot of damage. At the same time, Rogue does hit that front line. Cannons are going down. Lings, they collapse on the High Templar. Massive pickups. He gets 1, 2, 3 High Templar. Every single one. High Templar go down, and Classic has been broken. He's been broken before Skytoss. Again, Classic, he did scout the Spire. In a sense, the Hallucination saw the Spire, but Classic did not. Classic, he clearly did not. As Classic, he was torn apart. He was not ready for the Mutas. And these mutas may just end the game. Like, the mutas, they aren't killing Classic, but the counterattack at the same time is. That's going to be 38 probe kills. Lings, they're in the mineral line. 40 probes going down. Mutas are still getting more economic damage. Getting up to 43. Yeah, 43 probes. And from here, Rogue is going into Ultras. Jeez. Going into Ultras, baby. And Classic was torn apart. So before he can embrace Skytoss, before he can embrace carriers and a mothership and +1 air attack, it's not going to happen. You can see he was turtling up. He was trying to turtle up, trying to max out on Skytoss. But again, he did not click on that Spire, clearly. And Classic, he has two options. Either commit to an all-in or try to recover economically. But trying to recover also relies on the Zerg player leaving Classic alone. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Rogue should be the first to max out. He's on 89 workers. He has a booming economy. And Rogue should soon push. Just waiting for his lurkers. The lurker upgrades are on the way. Once they're done, Rogue can move out. And Classic eyes. Again, stuck at home. He has a lot of storms, true. Lings, they threaten to run by. Creep is spreading. Rogue is looking very comfortable here. Let's go. We got the Ultras on the way. Now, the purpose of the Ultras in this matchup is going to be to get on top of the High Templar. Is to just barrel through the army, prioritize, and get on top of the High Templar, forcing out storms. Right now, Classic is not ready for Ultras. The counter to Ultras is Immortal, is to get into Immortal production, and the Immortals, they're going to be that buffer to protect the High Templar. But as you can see, we're not ready for that, so we haven't scouted the Ultras. Likewise, carrier production has begun. And here comes the main army. Classic trying to keep up. Lings, they come in for a run by. They go for the cannons. They slip into the mineral lines. Oh, god. Yeah, Lings into the main. Cannons are going down to the Cranklings. Nice storm on the lurkers. Very nice storm. Likewise, a big surround. The lurkers, they all go down. We do see Rogue overextending. But the Lings are doing so much regardless. Ay, ay, ay. Carriers are spotted. Corruptor production has begun. Yeah, Lings, they break through the cannons. They slip into the mineral lines. More probes going down. You thought you saw damage done earlier. No, mate. Another 40 probes. 78 workers have gone down throughout the course of this game. Insane damage. And now here come the Ultras. We don't want to go in prematurely, though. We want to make sure that we have a maxed out army. There we go. We need to make sure we have support. Ultras and Lings, they're moving in. Storm zones away. The Ultras are breaking through. Oh, massive storm. Oh my god, the storm of the Lings, though. Very nice. Yeah, nice storm there by Classic, but we still have Lings in the main. And Corruptors, they clean up. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue, he will claim the series. Very nicely done. My condolences to Classic again, especially in Game 2. Game 2, Classic, unlike Game 1, where Classic was missing information. As a reminder, Game 1 was an all-in out of Rogue. He went for a 3-base all-in, where he did cut workers at 62 drones, that's all he had. Went for mass Ling Hydra. In Game 2, and Classic missed it. In Game 2, Classic, he did scout the Spire. He scouted the Spire. It was on Classic to recognize what was going on, but he did not click on the Spire itself, and in the end that led into the mutas going uncontested. It was 12 mutas, and there should have been cannons and shield batteries in every single mineral line, but there wasn't. Likewise, no stalkers either, because even though Classic scouted that Spire, looks like he didn't click on it, looks like he wasn't quite paying attention, and that did cost him the game. Did cost him the game. And with that, that leads us into our semi-finals. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at it yourselves.